Hi guys, Colesy, and today we are playing a bit of a different game. It is called Social Services of the Doomed. Now, it is a demo that I found on Steam because I'm just feeling like playing a lot of random, just new games that I've never heard of. So I have decided to scroll through Steam and find some demos to play. This one seems a little bit different because it is text-based. I don't really know what to expect, but we're going to try it and give it a go. As an employee of the Department of Supernatural Services, it's your job to mediate when a dispute breaks out between vampires and werewolves, which is pretty often these days. Tensions are rising in your city. Not all supernatural citizens... I really shouldn't have picked a game where I have to read so much because I'm bad at it, because my brain's slow. Tensions are rising in your city. Not all supernatural citizens think that they have to abide by the law. Flocks of harpies are... crowing? I don't know. Prophecies of doom, wizards are slinging fireballs, trolls aren't having peaceful chats about tunneling technology anymore, there are demons in the werewolf dive bar, and something is up with the ley lines. Sometimes it feels like you're the only one standing between the supernatural factions and a city in flames. Demons, trolls, vampires, blah 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 blah. I am the middleman. I have to do all the paperwork and decide, excuse me, Mr. Demon, are you correct? Or is Mrs. Vampire right in this case? That is my job. Right, so we're going to play the first 3 chapters for free. Well, I don't know if we're going to play the first 3 chapters. We're going to play some of this game. Here's our first issue, Form SN451A, as we're all very, very clear with, obviously, having read the rulebook and the explanation of the job description that we're doing. On this overcast Sunday morning, you should be sleeping in, but the work phone jarred you awake with a call to report to this address ASAP. The werewolves and the vampires are having a shouting match in the street, and human residents have been calling in complaints. This sounds like the most insane city. If you're lucky, no one will be bleeding on the asphalt yet. The Department of Supernatural Social Services, DSSS, that's too many S's. We don't know bloody altercations. Okay, or powdery altercations, like that incident between the stone trolls and the harpies last May. Classic. Yeah, that's been referred to, obviously, in the that's used as a training exercise, that very famous incident between the trolls and the harpies. Who knew that happy claws could gouge granite? No, again, we all know because of the reference. In any case, the mundanes don't like that kind of thing. They're the only ones who tend to be in charge of the cities of this. There's going to be a lot of me messing up words in this. In any case, the mundanes don't like that kind of thing, and they're the ones who tend to be in charge of city budget allotments. I assume the mundanes are the humans. Suffice to say, as the on-call mediator this weekend, you're expected to sort things out briskly. As you arrive, 2 groups of angry inhumans are facing off against each other. Werewolves on one side, mostly still in human form. Vampires across the street, wearing heavy clothing and carrying umbrellas against the sun. Of course, sunny day. Vampires, not great. With one angry car honking at them both for blocking the intersection. Too many people are yelling for you to get any sense of the problem specifics, and there's a werewolf transforming into a wolf ready to leap at a nebbish little vampire near him. I don't know what nebbish means, but okay. Well, stopping this is your job. Right, so these are our options. We can tackle the werewolf. We can cite the treaty that violence would break. I'm wearing glasses, which is really appropriate. Actually, I think you'll find that if you attack him, that's actually illegal. We can assure everyone there is a peaceful solution, or we can record who seems most at fault here. I think we assure everyone that there is a peaceful solution. Look, everything's getting a little bit out of hand here, guys. I'm sure there's a solution. Okay, everyone calm down. You raise your voice to cut through the dark mutter of the 2 groups. I assure you, there is a peaceful solution. A vampire yelps in pain as a werewolf digs his teeth into his neck. It's not worked well, has it? Let's be honest. So that's one section of the street that will need sanitizing before the next full moon, and a slight contradiction to your claim. Still, the principle is sound. Says who demands a vampire. You hold up your department-issue tablet with the bright logo on the back. It's not as impressive as a badge, but easier to see from a distance. Department of Supernatural Social Services. I'm here to help. A vampire pulls out a gun. This is not going to help keep things calm. Right. Okay, so a werewolf has attacked a vampire, and a vampire has pulled a gun. Engage in Socratic... I don't know what that means. Socratic dialogue? I don't know what that means. Yep, no, still don't know what it means. Get to the vampire with the gun before anyone is shot. Appeal to the people who are really in control of the situation. I'm going to pull out my own weapon, right? There's too much assault going on here. We're going to have to pull out our own... Not use it, but we're just going to pull it out. That's what I want to do anyway. I don't know whether the game's going to let me do that, or whether I'm immediately going to pull and shoot. As a DSSS mediator, you are allowed to carry a wide variety of dangerous items suitable to many different circumstances. that might arise in the course of your work. As you were called into the scene from home and left in a hurry, what you have on hand is the tire iron from the trunk of your car. Great. It doesn't have quite the same heft and balance as a crowbar, but it should suffice for the moment. You gouge the distance and smack the werewolf who first attacked right on the nose. Not hard enough to break the bone, just hard enough to show that you mean business. The werewolf yelps and lets go of the vampire. That's enough to break up the fight. The bleeding vampire scuttles back to safety of his people. The werewolf is hauled away by a member of its own pack, and you'll have to sanitize the tire iron before using it for its intended purpose again. A great many people across the intersection are staring at you now. Good, that's exactly where you want them. Okay, well, when I wanted to pull a weapon, I imagined something a little bit more impressive than the tire iron from the car. But maybe it's and I didn't intend on using it necessarily, but maybe it's calmed the situation. I don't know how attacking them has calmed the situation, but they seem to have let go of each other for the minute. So the one side of the intersection, about a dozen werewolves led by a small angry man who looks ready to get his teeth wet. They don't appear to be armed, but that's little comfort when a giant wolf starts biting things. To the best of your knowledge, they're usually found throughout this neighborhood. One seldom finds werewolves alone. In any case, solitary werewolves tend to go feral, and 100 werewolves in one place will try to conquer an empire. So this is probably the sum of this pack. They're not the only pack in the city, but they're the only one around here. Right, so there's a fairly small group of werewolves. Not one werewolf on its own, so he's not likely to go feral, but not so many that they're going to overpower everyone. To the other side, about 24 vampires led by an elegantly dressed woman with a oh god damn it, I'm bad with words. With a supercilious expression. I got there eventually. A handful of them are carrying equally elegant pistols in prominent holsters, and they're certain to have permits for that. These must be the vampires from this side of the river, a few blocks away from the enormous estate they usually inhabit. There's another group across the river, not on speaking terms with these for the last 6 decades. You've dealt with both groups a few times. You hold your official DSSS tablet high overhead, where the logo can be seen clearly. Official representative of the Department of Supernatural Social Services here. I want someone from each side to come forward and tell me exactly what's going on. Your species backs up the display you're making with the official badge in an argument between vampires and werewolves. Of course, the department would send in someone who's neither. You are, in theory, a perfectly neutral party here. Okay, so what do I say? I mean, I'm going to assume I'm a mundane human, but it said that humans make a lot of the decisions around the city and have, you know, the budget or whatever it was. I'm going to say I'm just a human. Some of your co-workers may joke that you're the token mundane in the office, there to fill a quota, but you worked hard for your position there. Studying for the entrance exam took months of research in places most ordinary humans would never set foot, but it all paid off when you joined the DSSS. DSSS. I think I'm saying that right every time. And skyrocketed upward. Even the jokes have slowed down since you were made one of the 2 senior mediators in the office. But it's not just the hard work that makes you good at mediation, it's your species too. As a mundane human, you're clearly unbiased in any situation. You're clearly unbiased in any situation involving 2 groups of supernatural species. It also helps when you have to reassure the rest of the mundane humans in the city that everything is going well. You're ready to clear up the situation before it causes any of the ordinary residents of the city trouble. After some muttering, a werewolf and a vampire approach you at a reasonable walking pace this time, with no one trying to murder anyone else, currently that you're aware of. That's a good start. The 3 of you look downright professional there in the middle of the intersection. Maybe you can all get this resolved in time for lunch. As long as the lunch isn't going to be each other, I think we're good. You know what? We'll go grab a coffee after this, guys, and it'll be fine. The vampire's a narrow-faced woman with chin-length hair, dressed in a sharp black suit and fine gloves. She was holding an umbrella over the vampire leader until just a moment ago. A pistol has been holstered discreetly beneath her jacket. From the other side, the werewolf is a very tall man, with broad shoulders to match. His hair is drawn back in a tight puff at the back of his head. Sun's out, guns out, says his tank top. Okie dokie. Right. I don't think it really matters who we ask first. I'm just going to ask the werewolf because, I don't know, the werewolf's attacked first. I'm going to ask the werewolf. You turn to the werewolf who stepped forward. It's the same werewolf who settled things down earlier, and his smile for you is meant to be reassuring. Well, you say to him, what's going on here? We were doing patrols like usual, he says. I do the schedule every week. Joe sends us out. He jerks a thumb back towards the small, angry leader of the werewolves. Shay Wooker, by the by. We find all these vampires walking through our territory with suitcases in tow like they're about to move in. We're not down with that. We've got the territory filed and everything. Right, okay. We're not moving in, interrupts the vampire, who stepped forward at the same time. I'm Patricia Zhao. Zhao? I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. I'm going to say Patricia Zhao. Assistant to Miss Olsen, and we categorically deny these unwanted accusations, especially given the emergency circumstances caused by an unprecedented shift in ley lines. We're trying to deal with that, and meanwhile he's leading the witness. Okay, fine. It's not a court, bro, says Mr. Booker. It is at this point that a chunk of concrete the size of your head smashes into the asphalt at your feet. Oh my fucking god. You are blocking the intersection, roars a stone troll, a moped lifted over its head. And you were making noise all morning. How was I supposed to sleep then? How am I supposed to get to work now? We're not going to confront the troll physically, that's for sure. I don't know whether we can talk. Maybe just clear the intersection. Maybe we can just like move this to the sidewalk and have the discussion there. And like the troll can get through. Everyone can carry on getting to work and shit. And we can have our discussion and figure out what's going on there. You raise your voice to cut through the noise of two surly crowds of supernaturals. Everyone out of the intersection, troll coming through. You snap your fingers at a skulking vampire who seems to be working out whether or not she can get her fangs into a werewolf on the edge of his pack. Now people, you are all obstructing traffic and we can discuss the matter at hand somewhere other than the middle of the street. Exactly what I was thinking. The troll looks distinctly startled at your compliance but sets down the moped it was carrying and gets on. As werewolves and vampires peel back out of the way, it rides the moped through the intersection. Much obliged, says the troll as it passes you. Good to know, you dissers are good for something, right? On that impolite comment, the troll buzzes away down the street. There we go, that was the simplest and easiest way to break up the situation, I feel. With the unexpected troll cleared out of the intersection, you turn back to the representatives at hand for the vampire and the werewolf groups. Now, you say, let me see if I have this straight. There was some sort of ley line shift in the vampire's territory. Beneath our estate, says Mrs. Zhao. It's uninhabitable at the moment and it's not safe for us to stay outside in this sunlight either. We were proceeding to the nearest hotel with blackout curtains and coffin arrangements when these people stopped us. You raise a hand to forestall more explanation just yet, and the werewolf pack objects to you crossing their territory. Not crossing, objects Mr. Booker, lurking in. The hotel they want to stay in is right at the border, like they're going to be spying on us, right? We don't mind if one vampire or two stays there once in a while, but the whole pack moving in close, walking straight through our territory, it's not right. If you want to put us up at a different hotel and order us cabs to get there, snaps Mrs. Zhao, we will consider alternate housing arrangement. Otherwise, as you point out, the hotel remains outside of your territory and is none of your business. Across the street is our business, says the werewolf. Agreed. Why can't you be reasonable, bro? If you call me bro one more time, you mangy... Right, it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. We're going to have to step in. You clear your throat before anyone can say something more unfortunate. Tomorrow, during regular business days, send representatives to the DSSS offices and we will get this sorted out properly. But right now, to avoid more traffic disruption and so forth, let the vampires continue... Right, so, do we let the vampires go to the hotel? Vampires need to... Everyone clear out the intersection. Werewolves and vampires should swap places? What the fuck? I mean, technically... Yeah, the vampires are going to be outside of the territory of the werewolves. They're not trying to stay in the werewolf territory, which seems to be a problem. So I reckon just let them go to the hotel and the werewolves kind of need to get over themselves. If they want to... You know what? If the vampires are going to spy on the werewolves, then the werewolves should sit there and, you know, look back at them in their hotel and be like, I see you vampires. So we're just going to let them go to the hotel. The hotel the vampires are heading towards isn't inside your territory, you point out to Mr. Booker. Strictly speaking, you have no right to prevent them from setting up shop there permanently if they wanted to. Isn't it in your best interest to allow this temporary situation to continue rather than pushing them to start adhering strictly to the letter of the treaty? Imagine how much trouble this could cause you. It's not fair that they get to lurk at us, Mr. Booker says, as he sighs and shrugs. If that's what you say, then that's what you say. We'll hash it out in the office tomorrow. Joe's going to blow his top over this, though. He ambles back to the werewolf side of the street to deliver the news to his boss. Okie dokie, Jesus. Right, well, I mean, he didn't seem happy about it. He was never going to be happy about it, but I think we've sort of somewhat sorted it for now. As the street clears, you take a deep breath. So that's one problem dealt with. Temporarily, it's not unusual for supernatural groups to get into these little tiffs, and so long as no one is dead at the end and nothing is on fire, it's not the end of the world. Though the paperwork can get exciting. Of course it can. All you need to do now is head back to the office to fill out the incident report. So much for a lazy Sunday. Though there's what the vampires were saying about the ley lines. Was that just an excuse to wander through the werewolves pack's territory? It seems like an odd excuse if so. You don't know a lot about ley lines, but they usually don't shift, do they? Well, there's a good research library down in the basement of the office. Even if the librarian is a bit unfriendly, you can always look that up later and find out if it adjusts the situation in any way. For now, you can pat yourself on the back. A job well done. Surely this can all be wrapped up in a few days. What could go wrong? I'm sure nothing will go wrong. I'm sure of it. I'm going to have a Frosty to reward myself.